Hey guys, this final video is going to cover the same stuff I went over in class on Friday. So as you should remember, first thing I did was ask you what happens to the federal government when the Southern politicians leave to join the Confederacy. And of course, naturally, the answer was that these Southern Democrats leave to join the Confederacy, and it leaves the government in the hands of the Northern Republicans, who can pass laws that the South always blocked. So the big two laws that the North wanted to pass and the South had always stopped, but now are going to move forward, are the Homestead Act and the Pacific Railway Act. The Homestead Act is designed to give very cheap land to settlers. It was federal land that they get at a very, very small price. And the Pacific Railway Act. That law is going to give free land to the railway companies, and that enables them to create railway lines that are going to link the east and west coasts. All right, so as a result of these two laws getting passed, there is naturally a lot of migration to the Great Plains. All right, so that's the end result of both the Homestead Act and the Pacific Railway Act. All right, but naturally, as white people start moving to the Great Plains, it's not like the Great Plains were sitting there empty the whole time. The Great Plains, this area in the center of the country, had been an area where Native Americans had lived. And so naturally, when white people want, Indian land, the Indians get the boot, and they are forced onto reservations. But then in 1887, a new law was passed. It was called the Dawes Act. And this was a law aimed at getting Indians off the reservations by forcing them to assimilate. And if you don't remember what assimilation means, basically it's a fancy way of saying that the government was forcing Native Americans to look and act white. And this Dawes Act forced the Native American Indians to assimilate. They had to cut their hair. They had to go to Indian schools. They had to stop speaking their native languages and all this. All right, so the next thing we talked about was I had shown you this slide, and I asked you, to just recall our discussion about how much more advanced Northern industry was compared to the South before the start of the Civil War. And I asked you to think about that because I want you and I need you to remember that another effect of the Civil War is that it is going to lead to the rapid growth of Northern industry. And this is yet another effect of the Civil War, and that's because the North was manufacturing many Civil War supplies, right? Weapons and uniforms and so on. The railroad boom that is going to, that follows the Civil War, thanks to the Pacific Railway Act, is going to help Northern industries. And the North did not have any costs or expenses or hassles related to rebuilding after the war. The majority of the fighting during the Civil War happened in the southern states. So after the Civil War, Northern industry grows rapidly. All right, the last thing that we talked about on Friday was sharecropping. And you should remember that after the Civil War, instead of taking land away from the traders and dividing it up among the former slaves, in recognition that they did, hundreds of years of work for no pay, maybe they're entitled to some back pay or something. No, instead, the government gave the land back to the plantation owners, and the majority of the former slaves ended up becoming tenant farmers. Long story short, these tenant farmers, also known as sharecroppers, were basically trapped in a cycle of poverty. And the sharecropping system is set up in such a way that it's like I said, it's almost as close to slavery as they could get away with, and it enables these plantation owners to have a cheap labor supply even after slavery ends. So even after slavery ends, thanks to the this sharecropping system, this is going to prevent Southern blacks from amassing wealth, and it is going to again just maintain a cheap labor supply for these plantation owners. All right, with that, you are all done. I hope you watched all the videos. I hope you were paying attention. I hope you took notes. I hope you studied. Study. Watch these videos again and again and again if you need to. Take notes, and best of luck on Tuesday. All right, and feel free to get in touch with me via Remind if you have any questions between now and then. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.